First, let's take a look at Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. The previously mobile-only title has got a listing finally on PC via Steam. Previously announced during the Japanese first official live broadcast live stream, Square Enix shared that the game would be making its way to PC sometime soon. Now the Steam page is available, showing up in certain regions with a coming soon set as the release date. The mobile title has reportedly had 6 million downloads on iOS and Android since its launch on September 7th. No news of the exact date of when the PC version will arrive though. In case you missed it, Ever Crisis follows the story of a young Sephiroth, an original story which runs parallel to the main Final Fantasy VII series and Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII. It's told in episodes, with the recent arrival of the 4th episode arriving on mobile this week, titled Cloud's Memory. Players can create parties with their favourite characters, including Cloud, Barret, Tifa, Aerith, Red 13 and more. Players can team up in co-op with up to 3 other players as well. The PC specs have been revealed, and as you would expect from a mobile game, it's not too demanding, but will require an internet connection in order to play. For more on this news or any news mentioned in this video, you can find the link in the description below. During the Korean event G-Star 2023, the Square Enix team went to talk about the production of NieR Automata. The action RPG has sold over 7.5 million copies and is a successful entry in the series. According to the interview published by 4gamer.net, which was also quoted and translated by Genki Japan on Twitter, as long as NieR director and creator Yoko Taro has anything to say about it, he will be working on the NieR series. Producer Yosuke Saito said that the series would continue with Taro as long as Taro is alive, but they weren't working on anything solid at the moment. There was also some more tidbits shared about the NieR Automata game. It was apparently created as a weird story rather than a dark story by Yoko. He justified that the darker themes of the game's narrative due to the consequences of defeating enemies would appear unnatural if the game had an overall lighter tone. Saito and Taro are working on another project together but haven't said much else what it is. Would you want another NieR entry? Or maybe a new IP by this talented developer? Let us know in the comments below. The upcoming MMORPG set to release in Korea this December, Throne and Liberty, got a brand new trailer at G-Star 2023, which is Korea's largest game show. The game will be available for PS5, Xbox Series X and S and PC in Japan and the West, with Amazon Games as the publisher. The new trailer shows stunning visuals of the fantasy title, a towering glowing enemy armor-clad ready to strike with a giant sword. A hero is seen sparring with the deadly foe using a crossbow to no avail and finally succumbing to a massive blow, breaking their own sword. But before receiving a hit that would surely end them, more figures strike down from the sky and stop the massive sword. Also shown during the G-Stars game show was a look at the mechanics for the 11th and 18th floor bosses of the dungeon design. They also introduced 6-player dungeons, changes in UI, and added guild bosses which act as an alternative option to world bosses, which may clash with PvP schedules, they said. What do you think of Throne and Liberty so far? Are you looking forward to seeing more of this MMORPG? Let us know in the comments below. Also this week, we got to see more of Zoria Age of Shattering and finally get a release date for the game. The developer behind such games as Game Deck the Detective RPG will be launching a new game, Zoria Age of Shattering, on March 7, 2024 for PC. Some new details have also been shared about the game's features. Drawing inspiration from the likes of Divinity Original Sin 2 and World of Warcraft, Tiny Trinket Games is hoping to show their love to both these games in Zoria Age of Shattering. Based on the trailers they have released so far, the Kingdom of Elion is a big area and it presents multiple biomes such as deserted lands and luscious blue seas. The tactical RPG with turn-based elements will have some similarities to XCOM. Players will need to be wary and attentive to their surroundings to identify the perfect place to lay down traps. Given the numerous skills that you have at your disposal, it is imperative to plan your actions carefully. Decide which companions are best for your journey with 9 different classes available. Another interesting feature is that the equipment and vitality will wear down over time, so keeping an eye on what equipment needs to be crafted and also taking a rest will be key to survival in the game. There are also some base management elements, being able to upgrade your outposts, give quests, and provide resources. It seems Hogwarts Legacy is back on top. The spellbinding action RPG has shot to #1 in the UK physical sales chart with the release of the Nintendo Switch version finally launching. The game, which received a few delays, has now launched on the handheld, climbing to #1. This also joins a number of Black Friday sales, which has now boosted games such as Call of Duty to number 2 and EA Sports FC 24 to 3rd place. The Switch version has received a few changes from the release in order to adapt to the now 6-year-old hardware. Most noticeably, the open world experience isn't quite as open world as the other platforms it's been released on. In order to counter the dated hardware, when players try to enter places such as Hogsmeade or shops in the village, for example, they will be presented with an action button and then a loading screen. This divides up the major open world areas with large interconnected areas instead of letting you seamlessly walk or fly through them. Other changes include the downgraded graphics, which is if you've seen like the Witcher 3 port for example, the game has gone through a similar experience in order to cope with the wide world on the handheld device. Despite these differences though, it seems that the title is still selling well, at least in the physical chart for the Switch platform. In case you missed it, Hogwarts Legacy was released earlier this year in February for PC, PS4 and Xbox One. It was delayed for the Switch version to November 14th. If you're yet to check out the spellcasting game, be sure to drop by our Hogwarts Legacy wiki for all your potions, spells, crafting, and any of your magical needs. An Ultimate Edition for Cyberpunk 2077 will be coming this December 5th. Set to include both the base game and the expansion Phantom Liberty, the Ultimate Edition will be released for platforms Xbox Series, PlayStation 5 and PC, both physically and digitally. In case you missed it, Cyberpunk 2077 had a major comeback with its first and only expansion, Phantom Liberty. It takes on a more spy thematic narrative, introducing a new character played by Idris Elba as Solomon Reed. The expansion is jam-packed with new jobs to take on and a whole new region to explore called Dogtown. Cyberpunk 2077, the Ultimate Edition, will surely be a full package containing both the main game and Phantom Liberty. You can start Phantom Liberty right from the get-go, but if you haven't played the base game in a while or experiencing it for the first time, I highly suggest going back to the main story. It arrived with the update 2.0 for the base game earlier this year, which gave a major overhaul to the perk system, added new options for vehicle combat, and more. Planning on making a trip over to Dogtown? Check out our latest builds, including Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty build, Rocket Doombringer. Last Epoch has dropped a new cinematic trailer this week that sets the tone and mood for the upcoming action RPG, which will be released in 2024. The trailer sets off the stage for the mid-game's story and setting. We see the world is in ruin and chaos with humanity at the precipice of extinction. Players will be the last hope of humanity's survival. Armed with a mystical trinket that allows you to turn back time, or even jump even further into the future, we are the ultimate savior in the making. Previously, the developer has released a roadmap to the full launch of the game, which is currently in early access. Road to 1.0 covers everything that's heading to the game and when. This includes the item factions, a Warlock preview, a Falconer preview, and finally launch day on February 21st. Item factions such as the Merchants Guild will be adding a trading post for players to buy, sell, and trade equipment with other players. The Circle of Fortune will represent the solo self-found system. There looks to be lots of good things coming to the action RPG ahead of its full launch next year. If you've been wanting to check out Diablo 4, now's a great time to check it out for free. That's right, the first free trial on Steam is now available, which will run now until November 28th. Players can try out Diablo 4 for free and explore the world of Sanctuary with co-op and cross-play features. However, the free trial does have one major caveat. Players can only level to 20. As this coincides with the Mother's Blessing event that gives 35% more XP and gold until November 27th, this will definitely be a time to speed up the leveling process. The progress made during the free trial will transfer to the full game, so if you decide to purchase the game, you can continue where you left off. You can grab Diablo 4 with up to 40% off, around $41.99 USD for the standard edition at the moment. Planning on leveling a Barbarian, Sorceress, Rogue, Necromancer or Druid? Swing by our Diablo 4 wiki for all the latest details and builds. Guild Wars 2 has unveiled all the new weapon options players can make use of in an upcoming update. Citizens of Tyria will be able to make use of one more weapon type per profession sometime in 2024. Each character class can equip a specific selection of weapons by default, which gets expanded with their elite class. Coming in the second major update for Guild Wars 2, Secrets of the Obscure expansion, will be the expanded weapon pool. This makes it so that each profession will have one additional weapon choice when creating their perfect character. The Thief class, for example, will be gaining a new option of axes instead of focusing on melee. These are throwing axes that can be lobbed from afar. The skill Venomous Volley includes poisonous spinning axes. The Rangers will be gaining maces for the elite specializations, which can be dual wielded. Warriors will be getting a staff weapon as the Staff Warriors, casting Valiant Leap to heal and buff allies. While the Elementalists will be gaining the pistol weapon, but these are no ordinary pistols as they fire elemental ammunition which can augment other abilities. These are just some of the additions. You can check out more over in our article about Guild Wars 2 over on Fextralife. If you're eager to try some of these new weapons and progression combinations, a beta will be taking place on November 28th until December 3rd. Well, that's it for the Week in the Wikis. Please join us again next week for yet another great week of gaming. Remember to check out our VIP program for some exclusive supporter benefits. And budding writers should take advantage of our Become an Author initiative. Thanks again for being part of this great community. Keep checking in with us with news, reviews, YouTube streams and vids, and general wiki goodness.